So here we have the very last game of round 4 of the 2014 November tournament held at the Gloucester Death Association building, also known as the Games Bunker. Myself there on the right, playing Andromeda, and Dave Hoyland sporting a rather vicious personal evolution deck. And again, I've had a little bit of practice against this PE deck, although I know full well that he made a fair few changes to it. It certainly isn't typical Cambridge. I think he's trying to... yeah, wrong deck there, Dave. Yeah, there we go. Well, it would have been interesting. Obviously, Andromeda playing out Mushin no Shin may have raised some eyebrows, but nevertheless, we continue on as that never happened and go on to enjoy ourselves. So, Dave Hoyland, as I've already mentioned in the last cast, very good player, but has taken the opportunity for, this is his tournament after Worlds, so to speak. So he's finished his Worlds extravaganza, doing incredibly well, making top 8, and had decided to, as a result, to take some somewhat more unusual decks to test and try, rather than the fairly standard generic stuff that he was running at Worlds. Although I guess his Corp deck was quite unique in that sense. But anyway, he double hedge funds and installs Ice over HQ. I will return the favour and play a Sure Gamble, a Desperado. All we need here is the Dirty Laundry, surely, in a set. No, security testing even better. Very, very, very good against Personal Evolution. As you know full well, they're going to be setting up remotes left, right and centre. So that is a very, very good start for me. I've got a great economy engine going already, and I'm just debating on what to play here for my last card. Not too sure whether I want to install something or not. I'm going to install the Corroder. As often as the golden rule of Jinteki, you're better off playing the cards you need out of hand than keeping them in hand, because you never quite know what net damage will come your way. Obviously, if I had a fairy there, I would have installed it with glee and reckless abandon, but I'll put the Corroder down all the same. Just important to ensure that they can't net damage out of your hand. Certainly not going to run R&D without a means of defending myself at this stage. So he will do his mandatory draw. Already in a fairly good position with the double hedge fund. He's going to draw again. I think that's a Jackson Howard. No, that's an Ice, which will install over R&D. I'm feeling the pressure here. I kind of need to win this game in order to place in a decent place. Or is that a medium? No, it can't be a medium. I don't think a deck runs medium. Could do. Ooh, crumbs. It's not what you want to see against Jinteki anyway. An emergency shutdown, a Plasticrete there as well, which is all good. Oftentimes you'll see the one-off Scorched Singleton in PE, so I will definitely play that Plasticrete down while I've got it. Again, I know I haven't run successfully. I think I may have actually security tested, so it's worth playing that Plasticrete out all the same. He's going to start setting up some remotes, which is just what PE does. He's going to install Jackson Howard, use Jackson Howard, and he's going to see what else he has to play with in hand now. Can't really make out what his hand is. He's got a snare there for sure, we can see on the top deck. And that's what you've always got to be careful of. Hitting that snare, even third click, let alone last click. Not that I'd ever hit a snare last click, ladies and gentlemen. Ever! I would never do that. I'm not known as Snare Dave for actual substantial reasons. It's a purely fictitious rumour made up to try and, demote me. Yeah, something like that anyway. Looks like he's just going to play it safe, take some money, and he is going to ditch some cards and pass the turn over. Looks like got another hedge fund in hand there as well. So it's precariously placed. I'm not worried too much. I'm not going to get too aggressive. I will play that fairy out fairly quickly. It'd be rude not to. I'm going to security test and take 3 credits. And I'm going to run the Jackson Howard, which he will use. Try to take it off the board, try and prevent him from getting up too many nasty tricks in hand there. So that's good. I'm sat on a very healthy 8 credits. He also sat on a very healthy 14 credits. So it's again, he's in a good position. Now I'm able to face check a little bit with a little bit more ease, just in case there was a Kaminu there that would ditch all my cards from hand. A Tsurugi potentially. Oh, and here we go. It's the random shuffle. Install 3 cards. You've got no idea what they are. Run what you want. Obviously, some of them are going to be vicious. I have no doubt. It's just about picking the right cards. But I'm not going to play games. I'm going to score the House of Knives. Thank you very much. and he will ditch a card as a result, which is a breach, which is fine. I've got a credit on the board, I'm not too worried about that one. Gain a credit for Desperado. Do I go again? Yes, absolutely. Oh, and it's a Gila Hands. Thank you very much indeed. Taking me to 2 points and denying him 2 very substantial threats. Are all 3 agendas? Is this an elaborate bluff? I don't think it is. I think I'm probably going to security test, take myself 3 credits, and then draw a card and pass the turn back over. And I think I'm just going to leave that remote face down where it stands. Could very well be a trap. I don't think Dave's quite brave enough to play out all 3 agendas in one go. But you've got to love the shuffle up 4 cards and just play them out. He will hedge fund. That's his 3rd hedge fund of the game. Sees all his burst economy, that's for sure. I call shenanigans. Looks like he's just going to take some money, pass the turn over. Yep, I'm going to draw, first click. Seeing a data sucker, which isn't going to do a lot of good in this matchup anyway. I'm going to draw again. Case Jones, not too bad. Got a lady in hand as well. But again, not too worried about that. I'm going to security test. Be nice to see a John Masanori at this stage. And I'm going to short gamble. So money is also not a problem for me now at this point. I'm on 2 points. I can just wait. Got a snare there. I think that's 2 he has in hand now. It's going to ice over R&D. I think as soon as again, 2 points isn't a huge amount at the end of the day. Looks like he's just going to take some money. I'm going to draw first click. I'm going to play my security testing marker of the Ferrero Rocher. Mr. Ambassador, you are spoiling us, and you are indeed spoiling us, because there's the card I was looking for. It is a feedback filter, purely ripped off from the success that it had at Worlds 2014. I decided to include it in my deck as well. It's just a nice little one-off splash, and there's no doubt that is going to significantly hamper Dave's deck. Being able to pay credits to get through any net damage is a huge boon, even potentially avoiding cerebral overwriters and trashing it to remove 2 brain damage. That's huge. And with the security testing Desperado out on the board, I'm able to make a ton of money, and then potentially just pay to remove all the net damage. So that is a good place. He's going to Mushin no Shin and install out a card with 3 advancements. And he's going to install another card and pass the turn. So again, I'm feeling in a very good place here. There is no doubt about it. I'm going to check that first of all, and I'm going to see a snare. He will trigger it for 4 credits, and now I've got to make the decision as to whether I want to pay to avoid it or not. It'll cost me 9 to avoid the snare damage, which is not insubstantial. I'm going to let him take the damage, because at this stage I'm not too worried about what I had in hand, and it's my first click, so that's fine. I will pay to remove the tag, and I will draw, and I'll probably draw again. So, again, I had 5 cards. It wasn't that big a deal. I could afford to take the hit. He will double advance and score Future Perfect, which, as bluffs go, is pretty damn impressive. He's asking if I want to pay to use feedback filter, and I don't. That's fine. But there you go, Future Perfect out on the board. Would have taken me to 5 points, completely undefended. And you've got to love the balls to the wall approach there. And again, he knows at this stage he really is under the cosh with a feedback filter on the field, a Plascrid on the board. He's going to have all kinds of problems if he's not careful. And scoring that Future Perfect goes a long way to putting me back on the defensive. 3 points to 2, and suddenly, he can score out. Red HQ, see a quandary, can't break it, that's fine. And I'm just going to security test, take some money. Not quite sure what else I'm going to do. I've lost the passport, which would have been ideal, obviously, to play against that quandary, and that is the problem with taking net damage to the face. Got a Sneak Door Beta in hand as well, which could easily open up HQ again through archives. And interestingly enough, straight away off the bat, he ices up archives. But he knows now, again, he's kind of got to try and score out here. He's not going to flatline me with a feedback filter on the board. Either he kind of threatens the brain damage play. Now he's going to bring back a Mushin no Shin to hand with the archive memories. And I think pass the turn. I'm going to run that face down card. Oh no, I'm not, sorry. I'm going to security test that card. I'm going to draw. I'm going to dirty laundry the card for lots and lots and lots of money. I need to move my Ferrero Rocher marker, really, don't I? It's just causing further complication than it needs to. But believe me, security testing is currently the face-down remote rather than archives as it currently stands, despite what the Ferrero Rocher may allude to. I'm going to draw again. And I'm happy just to play a patient game, wait for him to install some remotes and try and steal them myself. I'm certainly not going to let him score out another future perfect, that's for sure. And I'm going to take some money past the turn. Ditching a Katie Jones, which is of absolutely no use to me now that I'm sat on a stupid amount of money. He will Mushin no Shin. And install. So it could very well be a Cerebral Overwriter. It could be another future perfect. It could even be a Junebug. It could be anything. And I've got to be careful here. He's going to hedge fund for his last click. Feedback filter will go a long way. What I don't want to do is kind of have to hit it, take 3 brain damage, or take 1 brain damage in this case, and then suffer as a result. I'm going to burn through the Kamini with a fairy. I'm going to run R&D first. Get as much mileage as I can out of feedback filter before I hit that remote. That's the idea here, and I think that's the logic in my brain. And make him res some ice, see what is out there. Just see if I can pinch the odd agenda here or there. As invariably is the case with personal evolution, the agenda density is quite high. R&D runs can be quite fruitful. Even if I see something like a fetal... lo and behold, there's a fetal AI. That's fine. So I'm going to pay 9, and I'm going to avoid all net damage from the fetal. I've got enough money to be able to do that, so that's not a problem. I am now going to hit that remote on my second click, and it's a Ronin, which I will trash for 2. I don't think I'm taking my Desperado credits here, but that's fine. I'm going to run there for security testing, taking 3. Because I think I have forgotten my my Desperado credits here, and I'm going to draw. So that was a good turn for me. Ditched 1 Ronin, scored another 2 points, taking me to 4, giving me the advantage where I need it. I think I just remembered there to take a credit for Desperado, which I did. Dave's drawing up. If I could just deny him the remotes, I'm in a good place, in a very, very good place. And I've still, even after taking the 9-point hit on the fetal, the 9 credit hit on fetal, sorry, 11 credit hit on fetal. There we go, Ferrero Rocher marked. Now we know what we're talking about. But even after taking the 11 credit hit to steal a fetal, I'm still in a good place. It's like a super NAPD effectively in that instance, but I was happy to pay to avoid the net damage. So I'll security test, and I'll draw. I'm going to run. I think I might have taken an extra click here. Don't quote me on that. But did I think I played out the Masanori? I'm not sure. I'm going to run it and score a false lead. So it was an agenda after all this time. He's going to ditch a Data Sucker as a result, taking me to 5 points, potentially match point. I'm not sure if he's running any Brain Trust, but he certainly will be running some more Fetal AIs. He Dave's in all kinds of trouble here. Still kind of got me locked out of R&D because of the Kamainu. I can obviously burn through it for a stupid amount of money with feedback filter, but I don't want to do that. Ditching another security testing. And that is the great... I mean, this matchup is killed stone dead by Desperado's security testing and feedback filter. There's very little Dave can do here. I mean, obviously scoring that future perfect was a stroke of genius, but it's still only 3 points. That means he's going to have to at least score out another 2 agendas, one of which is going to be a future perfect. And there's no way I'm going to let an advanced card sit now at this stage. Dave's just going to take money and ditch cards into archives. I'm going to move my security testing over to archives. And I'm going to draw... There's the Masanori. I don't really want to use it at this point. I'm going to draw again, see a special order. So now the temptation is to maybe go and fetch the Fem, bypass the Kamainu, have all some lovely, brilliant Sentry Breaker out as well. But actually I'm just going to short gamble. And again, I'm surprised I'm not going for the Fem here. It seems to make sense to lock him down on R&D. Just score again. I need to score 2 more agendas potentially to win the game. Ditching some cards, ditching the Masanori, and passing the turnover after taking 2 credits. He's going to install. He's going to take 2. And he's going to pass the turn. Or he's going to take 1. Is he still got a click left? Not yet. I think he's still got a click left. No, he's not. Okay, fine. So I'm going to security testing the remote. Move the Ferrero Rocher accordingly. I'm going to special order. First click. To bring out... Oh, Yogg. Okay, so I'm going for HQ, which I'll install for 5. Second click. Which is, which is fine. Obviously completely negates the HQI, so I can start putting pressure there. Another servo which he has to defend, which he can't. And I'm thinking maybe at this point agendas will start to put up in hand. He knows I'm going to run remotes. I will run, scoring a credit for Desperado and access, seeing an NEP, sorry, a neural EMP, which is fine. And I'm going to security test and pass the turn over to Dave. And 3 credits for 1 click. Brutal, particularly with that feedback filter out. And I can certainly say that that single-handedly is turning the tide in my favour here in this match. And it's going to take something pretty darn special for Dave to wiggle out of this one. But I'm feeling very good on 5 points. Dave on 3. Both on a healthy economy. Me more so. And looks like here we go again. It's the shuffle up 3 cards, install 3 cards, and pass the turn over to me. Dave's trademark feature. I'm still going to put the security testing on that remote. And you've got to check him, really, haven't you? What's the worst that could possibly happen with the feedback filter on the board? Hit a snare, hit a psychic field, that's fine. So we'll run the outer one. And we'll see. And that's what he was going for. And that would have been a super play, a Philotic Entanglement. All 3 were agendas. So if I hadn't run them, there would have been more problems. But what a brilliant play that would have been to score the Philotic out for 5 net damage. It still wouldn't have been the win because I could have used feedback filter to prevent it, but it certainly would have put me in an economic pit and perhaps open up some scoring opportunities. But as it is, that means Dave and I split the round. And what it means, in fact, is that I think it does preclude us both from the top spot, but I think I pull a very respectable 2nd place. I think Dave comes just behind me in 3rd, and the prize is be ours, so to speak. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring you more casts shortly. Enjoy your new year, and we look forward to seeing you over at Netrunners.co.uk.